The war had reached its final stage. The Galactic Dominion, a mighty alien empire, had crushed every human fleet that dared to fight. Planets burned. Colonies vanished. Humanity stood at the edge of extinction. The Dominion's grand fleet gathered in the dark void of space, preparing for the final attack on Earth. Thousands of alien warships, armed with the deadliest weapons in the galaxy, stood ready. Their commander, High Lord Virak, watched from the bridge of his massive dreadnought. "This is the end of the human race," he said, smiling. "They have nothing left." Then it appeared, a single ship. No name. No signal. Just silence.it moved slowly through the wreckage of destroyed human ships. Its design was old, ancient even. The metal was black, scorched from past battles. It looked damaged, almost broken. The alien officers scanned it. "Just an abandoned human warship," one officer said. "A ghost. Nothing more." Virak laughed. "One ship? Against us? Let's destroy it." A single command was given. The Dominion's warships locked onto the silent warship. Hundreds of plasma cannons charged. Missiles were armed. The order was clear: erase this last remnant of humanity. The first shots were fired. The warship did not move. Lasers and missiles raced toward it, and then something impossible happened. The moment before impact, the warship shifted. It was not speed. It was not teleportation. It was something different, like reality itself bent around it. The blasts missed. Every single one. Virak's smile vanished. "That's impossible." Then the warship attacked.it fired no missiles, no lasers. Just a single pulse of energy.it first. Nothing happened. Then the Dominion ships exploded. Not one, not two, hundreds. The blast didn't destroy them, it erased them. As if they had never existed. Panic spread. "What kind of weapon is that?" An officer shouted. "No known energy signature." Another yelled, "This technology shouldn't exist." Virak's heart pounded. His fleet had conquered hundreds of species, but never had he seen such destruction. "All ships, focus fire." He screamed, "Destroy it, NOW." The Dominion's entire fleet unleashed their full power. Thousands of energy blasts. Millions of missiles. The warship did not move. And yet, nothing touched it. Lasers curved away. Missiles exploded before reaching it. Space itself seemed to reject the attack. Virak's eyes widened. "That's not a ship. That's something else." Then, for the first time, the warship sent a message.no words. No threats. Just one sentence. "You should not have come here." Virak felt cold fear creep into his bones. The warship moved. It was slow, yet unstoppable. Every ship that tried to run vanished. Every weapon that fired failed. This was not a battle. It was a massacre. Virak's ship trembled. The lights flickered. Something was inside. The control panels glowed with strange symbols. The air turned heavy. Virak felt something watching him. A whisper filled the air. Not human, not alien. Something beyond understanding. He turned, and for the first time in his life, he felt true terror. Then everything turned to silence. The war ended that day. The Galactic Dominion was no more. And the warship? It simply disappeared. To this day, no one knows what it was. A forgotten human experiment? A ghost ship from another dimension? A weapon from a lost civilization? All the galaxy knows is one thing. It came once, that it destroyed everything. And it may return again. The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for centuries. They crushed every species that stood against them. Planets burned, civilizations fell, and no one dared to challenge their power. Then they set their eyes on Earth. Humans were weak, the Empire believed. Their technology was primitive, their fleets too small. A perfect target. The Emperor himself gave the order, wipe them out. erased their existence. A massive armada, 10,000 warships, enough to destroy an entire solar system, moved toward Earth. At the front of the fleet was the Emperor's flagship, the Doombringer, the most powerful warship ever built. Admiral HFY Neth, commander of the invasion, stood on the bridge, watching as his fleet approached the small, blue planet. He smirked. This will be easy. Then, something unexpected happened. A single human warship appeared in front of the fleet. One ship. Against 10,000. The alien officers laughed. "Is this a joke?" one of them sneered. "They send one ship to stop us?" The warship sent a message. A simple, calm voice echoed through the fleet's communication channels. "Turn back. This is your first and last warning." Silence filled the bridge for a moment. Then, Admiral HFY Neth burst into laughter. "A warning? From a single ship?" He turned to his crew. "Destroy it." The fleet opened fire. Thousands of plasma blasts and missiles raced toward the lone warship. It didn't move. It didn't even try to escape. And yet, every attack missed. Lasers bent away. Missiles exploded before reaching the target. Space itself seemed to reject the assault. The laughter on the bridge stopped. Admiral HFY Neth's smirk faded. He leaned forward. "What is this?" The warship sent another message. "This is your final warning." HFY Neth's anger boiled. "Enough games." All ships fire at maximum power. The fleet unleashed everything they had. Weapons strong enough to shatter moons were fired at the lone warship. The darkness of space lit up as fire and destruction rained down on the mysterious vessel. Then the warship moved. Not fast. Not with speed. But with purpose. It passed through the attack untouched. It glided through space, heading straight for the Doombringer. HFY Neth's heart pounded. "Shields at full power," he ordered. But the moment the warship came close, the Doombringer's shields failed. The most advanced defenses in the galaxy gone. Then, the warship fired. One shot. A simple pulse of light. It looked weak, almost harmless. Until the first ship disappeared. Not destroyed. Not broken. Just gone. Then, another. And another. The fleet vanished ship by ship. The officers screamed as their screens turned black. Admiral HFY Neth's breathing became ragged. He could feel it now. Something was wrong with this ship. It wasn't just human technology. It was something else. Something beyond understanding. His hands trembled. He turned to his crew. "Retreat! Get us out of here!" But it was too late. The warship stopped in front of the Doombringer. For the first time in his life, HFY Neth felt fear. The final message came. "You were warned." The warship fired once more. The Doombringer ceased to exist. The battle never happened. There was no wreckage. No remains. Only silence. The few survivors who managed to escape told stories of the silent warship. The ship that came from nowhere. The ship that ignored the laws of reality. The ship that destroyed an entire armada with a whisper. No one ever tried to attack Earth again. Because now, the galaxy knew the truth. Earth was not weak. It had something. Something terrifying. And it had given its last warning. 50 years ago, during the Great War, a legendary human warship vanished without a trace. The ship, known as the Revenant, was Earth's most advanced battleship, a symbol of human defiance against the alien empire known as the Zorth Dominion. During its last battle, it had fought against impossible odds, taking down entire enemy fleets before it was declared lost. No wreckage. No distress signal. Nothing. It was as if it had never existed. The Zorth Dominion celebrated. "The last great human warship is gone," they declared. "Earth has lost its guardian." 50 years passed. Humanity survived, but it never built another ship like the Revenant. The galaxy moved on. Then, on the eve of a new war, the impossible happened. The Revenant returned. The battle over Orion 9 was brutal. The Zoreth Dominion had launched a surprise attack on a human colony. Earth's defense fleet was outnumbered. The battle was lost before it even began. Admiral Karvek of the Zoreth fleet watched from his flagship, satisfied. Crush them. Let them beg for mercy. Then, his sensors picked up something. A warship moving through the battlefield. NOID. No transmission. Just silence. At first, the Zoreth officers ignored it. Another human ship, probably a broken one, drifting through the wreckage. But then, the reports started. That ship is different. The scanners could not lock onto it. The visuals were blurry, distorted. Some officers swore it was there and not there at the same time. Then, Karvek saw it with his own eyes. A black warship, moving without sound. Its hull was scorched, broken in places, as if it had been through hell. Yet it moved with purpose. The whispers began. That ship, it looks like the Revenant. Karvek's blood turned cold. Impossible, he muttered. The Revenant was gone. Dead, yet there it was. And then it attacked. No missiles. No lasers. It simply passed through the enemy ships. And every ship it touched ceased to exist. No explosion. No wreckage. Just emptiness. Panic spread through the Zoreth fleet. Fire everything, Karvek shouted. The Dominion's warships unleashed their full firepower. But the attacks did nothing. Lasers faded before reaching the Revenant. Missiles curved away, as if the ship wasn't really there. As if it was a ghost. The Revenant moved closer to Karvek's flagship. Its blackened hull was covered in deep scars. The metal seemed wrong, as if it did not belong in this reality. The ship sent one message. We never left. Karvek's mind raced. Was this really the same ship? Had it survived all these years? Or was it something else now? A deep fear settled in his bones. Something had happened to the Revenant. Something unnatural. The whispers in the Zoreth fleet grew louder. Some swore they saw figures on its bridge, shadowy figures, watching, waiting. That ship is cursed, one officer whimpered. Karvek gritted his teeth. Retreat. Now, but it was too late. The Revenant's final attack began. A low, hum-filled space. The stars around it seemed to bend. Then, one by one, the Zoreth ships vanished. Karvek watched as his own fleet disappeared before his eyes. His ship trembled. The screens flickered. The air grew cold. And then he saw them. Standing in the shadows of the Revenant's bridge, the lost crew. Their hollow eyes stared at him. Silent. Waiting. And as Karvek let out a final terrified scream, his ship was gone. When the battle ended, the Revenant disappeared again. No one knew where it went. No one dared to look. But the message was clear. Earth, lost warship, had returned. And it was still fighting. Still watching. Still waiting. For the next war. For the next enemy. For the next battle it would never lose. The Galactic Union had finally defeated humanity. After decades of war, Earth's fleets were destroyed. Its colonies burned. The last human strongholds fell one by one. The war was over. Only one thing remained: Titan. Titan was the largest warship ever built by humanity. A floating fortress, the last of its kind. A ship so massive that smaller vessels looked like insects beside it. But Titan had not been seen in years. Some believed it was destroyed. Others whispered that it had fled into the void, never to return. The Galactic Union, victorious and arrogant, believed Titan was nothing more than a forgotten legend. Then, on the eve of their final victory, Titan returned. The Union's war fleets gathered near Earth, preparing for the final attack. 10,000 warships, a force so powerful it could turn planets to dust. Grand Admiral Exaron stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the blue planet below. "This is the end," he said. "Humanity is no more." Then the alarms blared. Something massive was approaching. A single warship, larger than anything the Union had ever seen. Titan, the last warship of Earth. Saren's officers stared in shock. Impossible! That ship is supposed to be lost. But Titan was there, and it was waiting. The Union's warships locked onto it. Thousands of weapons aimed at the lone warship. "Destroy it," Exaron ordered. The fleet opened fire. A storm of plasma cannons, missiles, and lasers rained down on Titan. Enough firepower to wipe out an entire star system. The attacks hit. Explosions covered Titan's hull. Fire and destruction filled the void. Then Titan moved. Slow. Steady. Unstoppable. The smoke cleared. Titan was still there. Not a single scratch. The galactic officers froze. "That's impossible." Saren's hands trembled. He turned to his crew. "Keep firing. All ships, attack." The fleet unleashed everything. 1 billion megatons of energy. Did nothing. Titan kept moving. Then it fired back. One shot. Not a missile. Not a laser. Something else. A single beam of light sliced through the void. And an entire fleet vanished. No wreckage. No debris. Just empty space where ships once stood. Panic spread through the Union's forces. "We can't fight this thing." But Titan did not stop. It was alive. A machine with a will of its own. A warship that refused to die. Saren's breathing became heavy. He stared at the Titan, its dark hull covered in scars from ancient battles. "What are you?" he whispered. A message appeared on his screen. 3 words. "I am Titan." Then the warship attacked again. Union ships disintegrated in the blink of an eye. The last of the fleet tried to flee. Titan followed. No1 escaped. No1 survived. Zaren's flagship was the last one left. He knew it was over. The Great Galactic Union, the rulers of the stars, had met something greater. And it was alone. Titan's final message came through. "You should have left us alone." Then, Zaren's ship was gone. The war was over. Not because Earth was destroyed, but because Titan still lived. And as long as Titan remained, humanity could never be erased. Some say it still waits in the darkness, watching, defending. The lone Titan, the last guardian of Earth, the last nightmare of its enemies. The war had ended long ago. Earth was gone. Humanity was erased. The Galactic Dominion had won. For centuries, the Dominion ruled the galaxy without fear. No species dared to challenge them. The last human fleet had been destroyed 500 years ago. But then, a distress signal appeared. It came from the edge of space. From the ruins of an old battlefield where humanity had fought its last stand, a single warship was detected. A human warship. The Dominion's high command was confused. Impossible. Humanity was dead. No ship should be left. Yet, there it was, floating silently in the void. Waiting, the Dominion named it the Phantom. Admiral Koran was ordered to investigate. His fleet, 200 warships, moved toward the abandoned battlefield. The moment they arrived, they saw it. A massive human battleship, covered in scars and battle damage. Its hull was ancient, its design outdated. Yet, it was active. Koran's officers were nervous. That ship is over 5 centuries old. It should not be here. Koran narrowed his eyes. "Send a message." A simple transmission was sent. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself." Silence. Then the warship responded. "We are the last." Koran's skin crawled. The voice was wrong. Hollow. Like an echo from the past. His officers grew uneasy. "Sir, that ship's ID matches a vessel destroyed 500 years ago." Koran's eyes widened. "That's impossible." The Phantom had been erased from history. Yet, it was here. Watching. Waiting. Koran clenched his fists. "Enough. Destroy it." The fleet opened fire. Lasers, torpedoes, plasma cannons, everything was unleashed at the Phantom. Explosions covered its hull. Smoke and fire spread through space. Then the smoke cleared. The Phantom was still there, untouched as if the attacks had never happened. Quran's officers panicked. That's not possible. It should be destroyed. But it wasn't T.IT should not exist. Yet, it did. And then, it moved. The Phantom did not fire weapons.IT, simply glided through the fleet. And wherever it passed, ships disappeared. Not destroyed. Not broken. Just gone. Corin's heart pounded. Retreat. Now, the fleet tried to escape. But the Phantom was faster. IT appeared in front of them, blocking their path. Corin's screen flickered. Then, he saw them. The faces of the long-dead human crew. Their empty eyes stared at him. Silent, watching, waiting. Then, Phantom sent its final message. We never left. The lights on Quran's ship flickered. His crew screamed. Then, everything went dark. The Dominion lost an entire fleet that day. No wreckage was found. No distress calls. Just silence. The Phantom was never seen again. But the whispers remained. Some say it still watches, waiting for the day the Dominion forgets its warning, waiting for the day it will return. Because some ships should not exist. But they do.